So Living Together follows a family who all get together for the weekend in the summer, and Norman comes along, and Norman's got a really chaotic history with a lot of the members of the family. So he's got his wife Ruth, who hasn't turned up yet. He's got Annie, who he's flirted with in the past and is kind of a source of some fun for him in his relationship with Ruth, which has kind of gone downhill recently. And he's also got Sarah, who, whilst they have quite a tumultuous relationship, there's some sparks that kind of start to tick along the weekend. And so basically it's this house which is just brimming with so much tension, and it all comes to the top.
So this family grew up in this dilapidated Victorian mansion. Sadly, the mother is very ill and stays in her room upstairs and is taken care of by her daughter. And somehow they've all ended up coming back for this weekend. And the awkwardness is that the daughter is kind of almost going to have an affair with the husband of her sister. It's mostly emblematic of how dysfunctional the lives of all of these brothers and sisters and their respective spouses are, and how that derails over time.
I guess it's been establishing backgrounds for the characters, because I think it's so easy to see them just as a punchline. And I think that once you get down into even as far back as their childhoods, because we're doing improvs for their childhoods, when you see all those relationships right from the beginning, it's really heartbreaking to see how they develop these wonderfully beautiful, quaint relationships, and then they just break apart for often useless reasons.
I mean, we've done a lot of improvisation, which is not something I'm used to in shows I've worked on before, so that's been incredible, and our actors have been amazing at that. So watching them just create scenes that are in no way linked to the script. Some of them have involved them being children, we've had them improvise being 7-year-olds, and they've done a fantastic job of that. So we did one improvisation of 2 characters who are in the play married, and we look back to their very first friendship as really young children, and we imagined them being boyfriend and girlfriend when they were 7.
So the classic thing that Ayckbourn is thought to have said is it's a tragedy with jokes. So we have tried to direct it in a quite naturalistic way. We did a run and people found it hilarious, which is very encouraging. But that's not how we're not like, ooh, make sure you land here, that's the comedic timing of that. That's not how we direct. We direct it like a straight naturalistic play.
So we did an improv with Ruth and Reg, so those are the 2 older siblings, and they were dealing with after the death of their father, and the mother had gone off and got drunk, so they were left to deal with the house by themselves, and it was basically Reg for once having to take responsibility for the household and for his little sister Annie, and Ruth just completely negating that and wanting to rush off, and it was a moment of those 2 coming together and having to deal with this horrible situation, and it was a real rare, beautiful moment where they actually worked together.
I have.
Okay.
My last Playhouse show, part of it is just discussing what you want to do, the idea that it's a collaborative thing, and 2 people can be creative, and rather than it being an argument, it's a set of different ideas that you can then try out and see what you like, see what works. She's really lovely. Not to mention our excellent assistant director, who also makes sure everything happens. It's a really good script, regardless of whether you've done something crazy with it. It's a really, really well-written play, and that, at a minimum, is a great reason to see this play. What else we're doing is we have a gorgeous set with 2 levels, which adds in a character who's referenced all the time, which is the mother.
And so this version of Living Together is it's so different to what a lot of other productions do, in that we've got the entire house there, which really gives it a feel of a living, breathing world that we're walking into. So when they're talking about the mother, she's an actual figure up on the stage. So it really gives this idea of this world that is much more visceral and real. It's got some really blossoming relationships in there, and we get to see the roots of these characters much more.
The acting is amazing.